This is my audience. When an individual is growing up and gets into their late teens and early 20s, they need to start planning and preparing what healthcare coverage they will be using and how much it will cost them monthly. Depending on the career path they choose, some employers may no longer help pay a portion of their healthcare coverage. By lowering the expenses healthcare coverage, it would help a lot of people stay healthier if they can afford medical insurance and stay up to date on their routine checkups with their doctors. Research has shown that in Texas, there are over 4.3 million adults that have not been able to afford healthcare coverage due to how much it costs. There are over 623,000 children that are not covered with healthcare because the parents cannot afford it. If they get sick and have to be hospitalized, that is even more money that they have to come up with to pay their medical bills. Healthcare being expensive is not something new. With high unregulated prescription costs that continue to rise each year, and along with how much the doctors make, will continue to make healthcare coverage cost more. It has been expensive for a very long time. The less people that try to lower it, the more it will keep rising, and the more families that will not be able to afford it. Even people with healthcare coverage try to prevent going to the doctor because of how much it will cost. Medical expenses have been a big problem for people not getting the medical care and attention that they need. And many people die because they cannot afford to be seen by a doctor or continue to pay for their medications monthly. With the cost of healthcare plans, it has hurt a lot of people because they are worried about trying to get covered and figure out how to afford it monthly because of how high the prices are, and trying to figure out their monthly budget and how to continue to pay for it on each time of the month that the bill comes. The reason healthcare is so expensive is because of how much it costs to pay doctors' salaries and how much medication costs continue to rise every year. For the hospitals to stay supplies with everything they need, including paying all the nurses, and they need medication and healthcare supplies. The reason why we should be so focused on lowering the cost of healthcare is because pre-existing medical conditions need to be treated with routine medications, and it can get very costly. And having to go to the doctor every few months to make sure their medications is working properly is a very high expense as well, along with the blood work and labs that they have to pay for. A specific way we can solve the problem of high healthcare prices is to lower the cost of medications or do virtual doctor's appointments instead of going into the office and taking the risk of being exposed to any more germs and getting even sicker which requires more medication that they will have to purchase from the pharmacy. A virtual doctor's appointment can lower the risk of picking up any more sicknesses you may be exposed to in the doctor's office. It can prevent more people from going to the doctor's office and prevent more visits. It could also save more money because the doctor's offices do not have to be fully staffed with more nurses than what they need. And they will not have to need to be open for so long during the day, and they will not be using so much electricity and their supplies as much as gloves are needed. Our efforts will help us be taking the risk of getting sick which will lower the doctor's visits and lower the cost of overall healthcare coverage. Because doctors will not have to pay for as much supplies and medication that would just be addressed over a virtual doctor's appointment. By working together to lower the prices of medication costs, doctors' salaries, and the cost of hospitalization will not only help us, but it will help our friends and families. And it will also help more people feel more secure and safe to have coverage when they need it most. The medical care business could be a lot better and easier to work with if prices were not so high and people could afford them better, because it would be easier for doctors and it would take away a lot of people's stress and problems knowing that their health is being taken care of properly and on a routine basis.